Hello, everyone, and thank you for being here. Welcome to Veiled Muse, your nighttime sanctuary. Whether you're curled up in the corner of your bed or unwinding in your favorite cozy spot, tonight I'm sharing two original stories, anonymously submitted on Reddit through personal accounts. If you don't know me yet, I tell stories that might just keep you up at night, or ones that feel eerily familiar. Perhaps you've lived through something similar and want others to feel that creeping sensation you've carried. If you enjoy this content, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and share it with your friends. And be sure to ring that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Either way, you're not alone in the dark, so hit play, turn the lights off or on, come closer. I have a story to tell you. I want to share a story from a trip I took years ago to Cambodia in 2002. Back then, I was a skeptic. I didn't believe in ghosts or anything paranormal. But after what happened, well, that all changed. My dad and I were staying at my cousin's house, a large, multi-level home in a small village outside Phnom Penh called Svai Rolom. The bedroom I stayed in was upstairs with its own bathroom. I was looking forward to a quick shower before dinner. So there I was, standing in the shower, soaping my hair, when I suddenly heard someone call my name. At first, I ignored it, thinking they can't expect me to answer while I'm in the shower. Then I heard it again, louder this time, closer to the bathroom door. I turned off the water, grabbed a towel, and called out, "Yes?" No answer. I opened the door and looked around. Bedroom door closed, nothing moved. I figured whoever it was must have left. After finishing up, I went downstairs to the backyard where everyone was hanging out, and I asked if anyone had called for me. They looked confused. Everyone said they'd just been sitting there, talking to each other. Maybe I was just tired, I thought, and I just brushed it off. The night was warm and the full moon shone bright. We had dinner outside, enjoying the quiet village night. But there was no electricity. The power always went out at a certain time and didn't come back until morning. About 15 minutes before the outage, I went back upstairs to get ready for bed. Exhausted, I fell asleep very quickly. Then, in the middle of the night, I woke up gasping. I couldn't breathe. I could move, but my chest felt tightened, and I was choking for what felt like seconds. When I finally caught my breath and calmed down, I drifted off again. But moments later, it happened again, longer this time. Panic set in. I sat up, trying desperately to breathe. Finally, the air came back. I stood up, walked around the room, trying to figure out what was that and what was going on. I was young, healthy, and this made no sense. After about half an hour, I started to feel sleepy again and laid down. But the choking came back, worse this time. I sat up in bed, still struggling. I jumped out, still gasping. I thought I might pass out. Then suddenly, I could breathe again. The moonlight poured in through the window. As I stood there, catching my breath, I thought I saw a shadow flicker across the wall. For the first time in a long while, I said a prayer. I calmed down and went back to sleep. Nothing else happened that night. The next morning, I didn't say a word about it. We had a busy day ahead, a Buddhist ceremony and blessing at the house, meeting family and friends. Later that day, I spoke with my older cousin from the US. She told me the monks had been there to bless the house because of restless spirits. She told me about the room I was staying in the room belonging to another cousin who refuses to sleep there. He said he always hears someone calling his name, and sometimes someone pulling on his leg in the night. And that was the last night I stayed in that house. This next story takes us to the Philippines. Teresa, the eldest of 6 siblings, had just turned 16. Known for her striking beauty and long legs, people often said she looked like she was born to be a beauty queen. Everyone in the barrio always asked about her. So when the local festival came around, a celebration that needed a muse to represent the community and march around town in a traditional gown, there was no question. Teresa was chosen by unanimous vote. Her mother beamed with pride. This wasn't just about beauty or tradition. In the Philippines, being known, being seen, it mattered. Opportunities often come from connections, and for her mom, she was a step toward a brighter future for Teresa. On the surface, it felt like an honor. The night before the festival, a quiet ritual was done. They made her bathe in water infused with sampaguita, luya, and ashes from a specific burnt tree. She was told not to look at her reflection until the morning came, and to never answer if someone calls her name from the trees, especially if the voice sounds familiar. Because if they see her, one whispered, if he sees her, he won't stop. Teresa brushed it off again after the old woman had left. She brushed her long black hair in front of the small mirror and went to bed. The day of the festival came around. The colorful gowns, the marching bands, the promise of photos and praise. But behind the woven smiles and applause, the elders were whispering, watching her very closely. "Don't let her walk alone at dusk," one of the old women told her mother. "She needs to wear red, a strip of it, tied around her waist or on her ankle, something to confuse them." Another elder handed her a small pouch, filled with herbs and something that smelled like old earth and smoke. "Burn this before sunrise," she said, her eyes sharp. "Say her name 3 times and spit on the flame. That'll keep them from following her home." Teresa didn't understand. She laughed it off politely, brushing it aside like folklore passed down to scare little children. But the way the old folks stared, faces lined with decades of knowing, it made her chest feel tight. She walked towards the table overflowing with festive dishes, each one more extravagant than the last. Just as she reached for a plate, someone called her name. She turned around, but all she saw were the people from their little barrio, chatting, laughing, and basking in the joy of the feast. Shrugging it off, she smiled and let herself enjoy the festival. The night came and it was a little past 9 p.m. Everyone was inside and getting ready for bed. Someone knocked on their door. And Teresa's mother went to open it. To her surprise, nobody was there, but just a big 3-tier chocolate cake. It looked appetizing. There was no note or anything to know who sent it. Teresa and her siblings wanted to take a bite, but the mother, being very cautious and suspicious, forbade them to touch it and kept the cake outside. The following morning, everyone shouted and yelled at each other that something was reeking, and an awful stench woke Teresa up. They followed the smell and opened the door. The once 3-tier chocolate cake was now nothing but a pile of cow dung. Everyone thought it was a prank from the neighbors, but Teresa's mother was doubting and kept mumbling something about duendes or tikbalang. Duendes are small, dwarf-like creatures in Filipino folklore who live in hidden places like trees, mounds, or under houses. They can be kind or mischievous, offering luck to those who respect them, or playing tricks and causing harm to those who don't. Tikbalang is a tall, horse-headed creature with a human body and backward-bending legs. It haunts forests and remote paths, often leading travelers astray or playing tricks on those who wander into its territory without asking permission. It is passed down that, taming either of these creatures, they will be forever your loyal servant, and cause fortune or misfortune to you and others, but there were no accounts that can prove someone was foolish enough to try. The following night after the cake incident, it was a little past 9 p.m. again when someone knocked on the door. And this time, it was Teresa who opened it. To her surprise, nobody was there, but a gust of wind blew on her entire body. And when she looked down, there was a massive cardboard box that portrayed as a gift, a present wrapped in white silk. She wanted to open it, but her mother forbade her and told her to not touch it. Confused and upset, she went to bed that night and felt her body with pressure. She thought that she must be tired or the hot water she used to take a shower, and went to sleep. The next morning, everyone was mumbling and noisy that it woke Teresa up. She went to the commotion, and outside their door, the once present wrapped in white silk was now a cardboard box wrapped in vines, and inside was a carcass of rats. The following night, it was the same incident. A little past 9 p.m., someone knocked, and when her mother opened it, to her surprise, there was a massive bowl of peso bills in hundreds and thousands overflowing. Her siblings were tempted to take it, but her mother said not to touch it. Of course, the following morning, everyone went out to check if it's still there, and there it was. A bowl filled with leaves and stench of a dung. The next night, they were waiting for the knock to happen, when to their demise, there was nothing. It took only 3 days, and the prank died down, they thought. As always, Teresa brushed her long black hair in the mirror when she felt a faint sound coming from behind her. And this sound grew louder and closer. She looked where the sound was coming from, and by the window, she felt the gush of wind, and staring back at her was a horse's head with red glowing eyes. She screamed and panicked, alarming her mother. Her father did not hesitate and brought the shaman living a couple of blocks away, the one that bathed her in sampaguita. When the old woman arrived and finished her ritual, Teresa's body was covered in bruises. The shaman examined, and she spoke in a very low, knowing voice. "It's a tikbalang. A tikbalang took a liking to you. He brought you gifts for 3 nights, even though you refused them and never let him in. He still cursed you, using the duendes to mark your body." She reached into her woven pouch and handed Teresa a red string. "Here, tie your long black hair with this for 3 days and 3 nights. On the 4th night, burn it, so he won't be able to see you anymore." And that was the last time Teresa ever ignored a protection ritual against the unknown.